this episode. It was so good. It was so good. Oh my god, this episode's so good. So I want to talk about the small introduction part that we had in this episode. It wasn't really an introduction. It was more or less like half of the episode, or a good like third of the episode, and then we'll talk about the rest of 2/3 later on. But I just want to talk about Sensei and how great she is. She's like the best teacher ever. And if you're wondering, the reason why she isn't married yet isn't because she's, well, it could be that the men around her have bad taste, but is that she's always working, so she doesn't have time to go out. Like if you watch the little ending credits scene that they usually have to preview the next episode, which in most cases they don't really, they just use animation from the last episode and just have dialogue, or just have funny dialogue, and it's just like she explains that it's Christmas time again. She hates it that because she's not married, so she doesn't have a significant other to hang out with, and like she always says that she's always working, so she doesn't have time and all of this, and it's true. That's why. And I just enjoy the fact that Hachiman admits that if he had met Sensei 10 years earlier, or if he was born earlier, or like, you know, if he just met her 10 years earlier, they would have probably worked out. They would have been a couple. They would have gotten married, and it would have been fantastic. And thing is, it's like Sensei, you know, secretly she's my best girl, but you know, due to the fact that she's older, it wouldn't be right. And it's funny because there was an OVA, if you guys don't know, that was bundled with one of the novels sold in Japan. That they pretty much had a competition, quote unquote, where it was just like all the girls just dressed up in wedding dresses, and you know, Sensei looked the best in it. And it's just like Sensei, she deserves more screen time. And thing is, like, cause she's like my best character outside of shipping stuff and all of that. But anyway, let's move on to the other part of the episode, that being pretty much Hachiman's confession. Not really, but it's the only word that right now in my vocabulary that I can use to describe what it was. And man, was it good, because Hachiman, he finally realizes after his talk with Sensei that, and the overall theme of this episode was that being that words can't convey anything in actuality. It's your actions. You know how the saying goes, like, actions speak louder than words, because in most cases that's true. And we finally see Hachiman. He realizes that going at it alone, being the way he usually is to solve problems, isn't going to cut it, especially with this situation with Iraha and the student council and the Christmas event that's going on. Like, he realizes that he needs help because he can't do it alone. He tried doing it alone, but it didn't work out. So he comes to Yui and Yukinon. Remember, Yukinon says you don't have to come if you don't want to. And essentially, he kind of breaks down. Like, Hachiman admits that he cares for Yui and Yukinon, probably not in the romantic way that we are expecting him to, especially like with hand-holding and, you know, going out, being a part of the relationship. But we see him wanting to have that relationship with the girls and to have friends, because it's like having friends is better than not having friends and being a loner. And he just wants all of that. He wants all of it to happen. And props to the animation studio on how they animated Hachiman crying, because thing is, like, in real life, when someone's crying, they don't look pretty like they usually do. Like, go look at Your Lie in April. Like, when the characters are crying, they just have like tears running down their face, and they somehow still look cute and all of this, which is weird because that's not what happens in real life. And the way Hachiman cries in this episode, it's the most realistic thing. You see that his face is kind of ugly when he's crying. And then same thing with Yui and Yukinon, but they're girls, so like they're still somewhat cute. But like for the most part, they were kind of, you know, you can see that they're realistic. Like, they had most realistic crying faces. And Hachiman admits that he was wrong. He wants the service club's help to help him with the Iraha situation that he's in. And originally Yukinon says no, and she just, you know, she just doesn't understand what's going on. And the thing about Yukinon's character is that she is actually somewhat worse than Hachiman when it comes to things. Like, in actuality, like, Hachiman outside the service club, he actually has friends. He has Saki, he has Totsuka, and all of these other people. When Yukinon, she doesn't, outside the service club, outside Hachiman and Yui, she doesn't really have anybody. And it's just like she doesn't understand like what's going on, because at this point she was ready to admit defeat to Hachiman's ways, and here he comes barging in, like admitting all these things, how he wants a relationship with the two girls, and how he wants like this feeling that he's been getting, because the Hachiman we know now isn't the same as before, and the same thing goes for Yukinon. And the thing is, I love how like she like stormed out of the room, the way she slammed the door. You can feel the emotion from the animation, and in most cases, anime doesn't do that. At least like some of the generic stupid etchy harem stuff. But that's besides the point. I especially like how they used the flashbacks in this episode as well, where they were using that flashback earlier in the season, where it was both Yukinon, Yui, and Hachiman just hanging out, eating, and all of this. It was just like, and you see the three of them from the backs, and you just see how they're friends, and it's actually something cool, and where you see them now, they're not really friends. And then we find Yukinon on the roof thanks to the help of Araha. Again, I don't know why she popped up in this episode. Like, Araha, I like her character, but sometimes she pops up at like the most randomest moments. But like the way that Yukinon and Yui, how they both don't understand what's going on, I feel like it's a good thing, because as an audience, I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand what's going on either. I just know that all the pent up like frustration that the characters have, it's slowly going away, and it's great because I love seeing these characters, this trio, come back together. And like I said, it's just a good thing how both the characters in the anime and us as an audience don't know what's truly going on. Like, you can dissect it as much as you want. I'm trying my best. But like in the end, like it's still very vague on what's going on. So it looks like the band's getting back together, guys. And thing is, I love like the subtle hints that they give out throughout the animation, like especially in the opening and in the ending songs. Because in the openings, I didn't pay attention to this one, but like I especially like for the most part, sometimes when the characters were like not together, like Hachiman and them weren't like they were angry at each other, you would see that Hachiman's missing from the service club, or sometimes not anybody was there. But then, especially with the ending, I paid attention. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but the ending song last week, it was a ballad where for the most part it was the same song, but it was more like instrumental. Like it was just like the string instruments, and it was just Yukinon's voice actress singing, and it was more emotionally heavy. Like you felt the emotion behind it because it came right after Yukinon telling Hachiman, "Hey, don't come to the service club. I'm not making you two anymore, so you don't have to come." And in this one, it goes back to the regular song where you see everyone all together. Because in last week's ending song, you see it was just Yukinon, and like I said, it played. It was very slow. It was very emotional and all that. And yeah, it was just I love the subtle hints. That's why I love about anime, especially animes that are this like delved in or done so well. It's that they can put all these subtle hints in, and if you're really good at catching them, you catch them. But if not, you're just like, oh, okay. I still don't understand how this is not licensed in America yet to read. Like the light novels, I need them in my life, but you know they're not. It just frustrates me. Come on, Yen Press, do something about it. And my grade for the episode was A. It was fantastic. What do you expect? Like everything that happened in this episode was amazing. Things from Sensei, for everything like she was saying, from her wisdom, from her little shock moment when Hachiman's like, maybe the guys have bad taste in women, and then from everything that happened with Hachiman's confession and the girls, but also like the voice acting and like everything, like the animation, the way you saw Yukinon slam the door, the way you saw Hachiman crying, it was just all fantastic. I also love how like most of the frustration that has built up over the last few episodes, it's basically between Hachiman and Yukinon, but I love how this is pent up. Like if Yui and Sensei weren't there in this episode, we'll still have like them going at it at one another instead of things being resolved. And like thing is, Yui and Sensei are kind of like glue that stick Hachiman and Yukinon together. And it's just so great seeing these characters, because if anything, I love the character interactions within this anime, and it's probably the best part about this anime. But yeah, let me know your thoughts of the episode down in the comments below. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and thanks for watching. But don't forget to leave a like if you think the video deserves it, and subscribe to my channel if you like what you saw and you haven't already. And I'll see you guys all next time. So until then, bye bye.